Welcome, everyone, to the WTR Small Cap Spotlight podcast. I'm Sean Severson, co-founder and CEO of WTR Research. In today's podcast episode, I'm being joined by Carl Aure, CFO, and Kristen Cunningham, Chief Sales Officer, both of LifeVantage. That trades on the NASDAQ under the ticker LFVN. Welcome, Carl.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for having us today.
So I'm just going to give a quick, brief overview for investors. LifeVantage is a world leader in using nutrigenomics to activate a healthy body, mind, and mood with science-backed products that include unique combinations of naturally occurring compounds. Now the activation company, LifeVantage, has expanded its portfolio with the addition of P84, a comprehensive gut and microbiome activator gained through its 2025 acquisition of LoveBiome. Company activates financial, social, and community wellness by using direct selling business models. It offers its premium quality supplements, energy, gut health, and skincare products through a connected network of independent consultants around the globe. So with that out of the way, I just want to give people an introduction to the company if they're not familiar. Joining me is my research colleague, Doug Lane, Managing Director and Consumer Analyst at WTR Research. Good morning, Carl and Kristen.
Yeah, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Hey, Sean.
So, I know I gave a brief overview, Carl, but what would you say to investors who are coming to the company for the first time? I know I gave a generic description, but how would you describe the business to a new investor?
Yeah, sure. No, happy to give some background on LifeVantage. So we are LifeVantage Corporation. We're as you mentioned, we're publicly traded on the NASDAQ. The company's been around on publicly traded for 14 years. And I think we've got a very interesting story, and I think I think we're still relatively unknown. We're about an $80 million market cap company, and as you mentioned, we're a health and wellness company. We're focused on nutraceutical products, which means we're just all natural products, and we try to differentiate ourselves on this concept of activation, where our products are 100% natural and they're really designed to activate your body to do something that it was originally intended to do. So that's really on the product front on how we differentiate ourselves. As you mentioned, from a channel perspective, we distribute our products through a direct selling channel. We've got approximately 50,000 independent consultants around the world that are really our sales channel. They're really responsible for promoting and selling our product worldwide. We distribute our products in approximately 20 countries around the world, but we're predominantly North America. If you were to look at our footprint, 80% of our revenue or so comes from North American region. And so I think when I think about where we're headed, we've really got growth opportunities, certainly on the international front. I think the other thing that's important from an investor perspective, if you look at our revenue streams, if you look at the majority of our revenue, more than 70% of our total revenue comes from recurring subscription-based revenue. All of our products are designed to be in 30-day consumable products or packaging. And so that really lends itself well to a subscription-based business model. And so something that I think it's really obviously positive from a predictability standpoint, a cash flow standpoint. And that really leads into our financial profile. We've got a really strong financial foundation. Our model, it's a very highly variable cost structure. And so, historically, the company's had very strong EBITDA margins. We generate healthy free cash flow. We've got a really strong balance sheet. And I also think from a capital allocation standpoint, we really have a robust capital allocation strategy that's very shareholder friendly at the end of the day. So overall, I'd say, we're a very well-run company. We make very good data-based decisions. And from a financial standpoint, we're very, very strong.
Great. Thanks, Carl, for that additional color. And Doug, I'll turn it over to you to run through the questions.
Thanks, Sean. Carl, you guys are in the middle of a CEO transition here. So can you update us on how that process has played out here since Steve retired in April?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, as you know, Steve officially retired at the end of April. So April 30th was his last day, and after 5 years as the CEO, and he was actually with LifeVantage for 9 years in total. But over the last 5 years, I think Steve did a lot of great things for the company, set us up really well particularly from an operations standpoint. But I would say what we've really been focused on over the last 3 months is really making sure that LifeVantage is as positioned as good as possible for Terrence to step in when he joins the company here on August the 5th. I think we've really looked at streamlining our internal processes. We've tried to simplify, I think, the messaging that we have with our consultants and our customer base out there, and really leaning into our foundational products like Protandim and collagen and some of our products that we know work and certainly retain better at the end of the day. So we've really been focused on that. And most importantly, we haven't made any drastic changes over the last 3 months. We've been trying to operate and optimize things the best that we can. So we know when Terrence starts here on August the 5th, that he can really hit the ground running and really step in and make a meaningful difference as quickly as possible.
Yeah, how does that work? Because it's you, Kristen, and Michael Beindorf, who I believe is on your board of directors, been running together as kind of an executive advisory team. So how is that kind of leadership model, that temporary leadership model, worked out here? And do you want to see that kind of collaborative approach once Terrence comes on board, or how do you see that playing out?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think we'd love to see that continue. And yeah, as you mentioned, Michael Beindorf stepped in as our interim CEO, and Michael is our longest serving board member. He's been on the board for over 14 years, and so he's got a really good understanding of the business. And I think both Kristen and I would attest to this, that Michael has stepped in and had a really positive impact on not as on the business as a whole, not only just on internally with our employees and the decision making that we've gone through, but in particular with our field as well. I think he was able to step in and really get the confidence of the field. Whenever you have an interim situation like this in our business, it can be a little bit scary on how the field will react. But Michael has stepped in and he's done a phenomenal job of gaining their trust. And I think, the collaborative approach that he's had with our internal executive team has been really, really strong. He's listened and leveraged from the experience of Kristen and the sales team and the rest of the executives that we have. And I have to say, in the years that I've been here, I think the collaboration and the alignment of our executive team is as good as it's been in my tenure. And so, and it's only been amplified over the last 3 months. And when I look forward to when Terrence joins, I think he's really going to be able to leverage from that as well. I expect the handoff to be really, really clean, and hopefully, again, just allowing him to hit the ground running and hopefully start to get LifeVantage moving in the direction we all want it to go.
Right. And again, Terrence is Terrence Moorhead, and investors in this space may know him from 7 years he spent at Nature's Sunshine. So let's talk about Nature's Sunshine. It's bigger, it's more global, it has its own manufacturing. You mentioned you're relatively asset light, but they have manufacturing, they have auto
Yep.
ship and digital programs. So what do you think? What do you think he'll bring with him from Nature's Sunshine that he could apply to LifeVantage? And what do you think the big differentiator will come from him when he joins on August the 5th?
Yeah, sure. No, I think Terrence is going to bring a lot for us, right? And I mean, I think when you look at his background and his skill set, he really brings what I think LifeVantage needs right now. Again, you reference his track record at Nature Sunshine Products. He was the CEO there for just over 7 years, and he had a really great track record of really stabilizing Nature's. He had consistent year-over-year revenue growth as well as improving their profitability margins. But when I think about what he'll bring here, number one, I think his skill set really is on marketing and product strategy, right? So he's got deep experience in consumer products. I expect him to come in and really build upon what we've worked on. When I've looked at LifeVantage over the last 4 years, I think we've made enormous strides on how we go to market with products and development of our product strategy and long-term roadmap. But where I think Terrence, with that really being his skill set, I think he's just going to take that foundation and really amplify and build on it substantially. So I think product and product related marketing will be one of the big areas that he'll step into and really see some noticeable differences. I think the second area that I really think Terrence will be on the international front. He has, looking back, and he has experiences obviously with Nature Sunshine, but prior to that, he spent a long time with Avon, and in particular in a lot of the international markets. So I think he may have a different approach and maybe help us develop a better strategy as we look at growing internationally. As we mentioned earlier, international is one of the areas where I really think we've got disproportionate growth opportunity. And I think Terrence is perfectly positioned to be able to come in and leverage his experience and help us get to market maybe a little bit quicker and identify those international opportunities to capitalize on. So I think those are, the top two. And finally, I think the third piece is on the digital front. He's got, as you mentioned, I think he was really successful in modernizing Nature Sunshine on from a digital standpoint, as well as looking at other alternative revenue sources, right? I think he was successful in maintaining the core business of the direct selling model and understanding the importance of that, but was able to find complementary business lines to really support it that allowed Nature's really to grow over that 7-year period he was there. So overall, I think we're really optimistic about Terrence and the foundation that we've built here at LifeVantage. And, I think he'll be able to hit the ground running and really hopefully accelerate us going in the right direction.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you mentioned Steve was there for 9 years. We should point out he was the CFO before he became CEO.
That's
So
right.
Terrence does kind of bring a different perspective here to the equation, given
Yeah.
his marketing background.
Yeah, totally different perspective. And yeah, as I mentioned, I think he's the right guy for where we are as a company, where the infrastructure and we've solidified ourselves operationally. So yeah, really optimistic for him to jump in.
So how does that play in the field, Kristen? I mean, he's a known entity in direct selling, so maybe people already know him. What have you learned in the 3 months here since Steve retired about what the mood is out in the field on Terrence's arrival?
Yeah, good question. And Doug, really similar to a lot of the things that Carl has shared on the internal side. I would say this team has been really good at navigating our field through big changes. We saw it through the Evolve Comp Plan, through different product things that we've done, and we really handled this CEO transition the exact same way. And it was, how do we simplify the message and how are we transparent about it? So I think we did a really good job in Las Vegas of setting up. Here's who Terrence is. His background, you're right, speaks for himself. What he's done at the other companies that he's been a part of, people are very excited about that and having his leadership here. But being able to talk to our leaders about what was the process of finding Terrence, like what is going to happen through this interim period, really built a lot of confidence and trust that we spent a ton of time really making sure that we had the leader to drive us kind of through this next phase of growth. The other piece of it was just this concept of simplification that we launched with it. It was going back to really focusing on that Nerf 2 message. It was going back to really talking about the consultant opportunity. And instead of just saying, hey, we want more customers, like we want more storytellers to help us grow our customer base and our consultant base, the entire base. So really focusing on transparency, simplification on the product side, simplification on the business side. It has been just really embraced with open arms from our field to see us kind of revert back to our core of who we are. It's given them a lot of confidence, and I would say they're ready for August 5th to get here and to meet him and to just keep going.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And coincidentally, you just had regional training events here. So I'm sure this was a topic of conversation. So just in general, what were you talking about during the regional training events and getting the field ready for August the 5th?
Yeah, definitely. So we had kind of our Activate virtual event that we did in just a couple of weeks ago, coupled with some incentive trips that we're doing kind of all over the globe as well. So again, re-emphasizing that message of simplification, like success loves speed, and loves simplification. And that's how we feel like we can really get it going. But definitely there were some questions around Terrence are you guys all ready for him to get here? And of course that answer was yes. But the big thing at those events even was just how do we continue to focus on who we are? And our mentality has been like, let's get the field in the best place possible for a new leader to come in and just partner with it and to run with. And that's come with a lot of discipline around, focusing on Pro Tandem, focusing on the whole story. One of the things we say is that, a customer will add to your business, but a consultant will multiply. So really honing in on that consultant message of how do you go find more people to tell this story with you? And the more we can focus on that, I think it just sets Terrence up for success to come into a field who is excited for him, excited for his vision, but are locked in on a really solid message of let's go get more storytellers. So that definitely has been a huge focus. Started out obviously with some of our virtual events that we had it, and then kind of seeing those questions continue through our incentive trips, and being able to launch kind of a predictable cadence for that as well has been just really good to see all of that kind of going together.
Well, now you guys have your global convention once every 18 months, if I'm not mistaken. So you're due for one here this fall, right? So, where is the global convention this year? I think it's October. And what can you tease for us with regards to what's going to be happening at the convention? I know you can't give away too much, but what should we expect when it does roll around? And what do you think Terrence's role will be here in his first convention, only a couple months into the job?
Yeah, we're excited for it. And the convention will be in Salt Lake. So it'll be
Oh,
Terrence's first convention, but it's actually one of the last conventions that we get to do in Salt Lake for several years because of the kind of that Olympic project that's coming up. So we will be in Salt Lake. It will be Terrence's first big global event that we're really excited for, but it's going to be hyper focused on the business. Some of the things that we're working on are really upgrading some of our onboarding experiences, making sure that when somebody joins, they understand not just what Pro Tandem does, but they understand like how to talk about it, how to share it, how to build it, how to really grow their business along with that customer base. But not losing sight of the business and the opportunity message within our incredible product story will be a big focus. So we're working on a lot of tools and training for that. In fact, we also have another opportunity for our consultants to actually meet Terrence ahead of convention, where if they do a certain amount of enrolling over the next few weeks, then they can come to Park City and kind of have a pre-meeting with him as well that we feel like is a great opportunity. So come convention, it's not just meet him for the first time. We have a core group of our leaders who are already familiar with him and his leadership and can really just continue to build quicker, faster, more stably too.
well, that makes sense, and that's a great note to end on. So we're bumping up against time, so maybe I'll leave it there for today and turn it back to Sean to wrap up.
Thanks, Doug.
Thank you for joining us today, Carl, CFO, and Kristen, Chief Sales Officer, both LifeVantage. Again, NASDAQ ticker symbol LFVN. And thanks to my equity research colleague, Doug Lane, for also joining us today. And finally, special thanks to the producer and editor of podcast, my WTR colleague, Krista Fitzpatrick. Thank you again for listening, everyone. Remember, you can find all of our research at www.watertowerresearch.com. It's open access for all investors, where you can find some great additional research on LifeVantage. And hopefully you'll subscribe to our podcast. We have several interesting companies coming up. So thank you again, everyone, for listening.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.